Hi guys and welcome back. In this video we're going to learn about if statements. An if statement allows us to use a boolean to make a decision in our program and potentially do different things depending on the value of that boolean. Of course, if statements are most useful when you have user input, such that your program can potentially get different data depending on who runs it and who's using your program. So here we've got an input that asks the user for the day of the week. So what day of the week is it today? And then we're going to check whether the current day of the week is Monday. So how would you check whether the current day of the week is Monday? You would say day of week equal the string Monday. Let's print this out to see whether our boolean works. So all I've done is printed the boolean out. And again, remember that this here will evaluate first. So Python will say day of week is equal to Monday. And if it is, then it will replace this entire thing by true. Otherwise, it will be replaced by false. And if we run this, you see that we get our prompt and you can type in Monday and then you get true. But if you type Tuesday, then you get false. So this is what we expected. Now, instead of printing this out, we can actually put it in an if statement. So the if statement is like this. You type in your if keyword, which is special in Python, then you put a space, and then without putting brackets or anything, you type your Boolean comparison. And then at the end, you put your colon. This will evaluate as soon as the if statement runs. So as soon as Python reaches line 3, it's going to calculate the result of this Boolean, which is going to be true if the user entered Monday and false if they didn't. And if it is true, then we will run the code underneath the if statement. And here's one of the most important things in Python programming, which is that there are a few spaces in front of this line here. This is called indentation in Python. And after a colon that defines a block of code, such as an if statement or a function or a class, we're going to learn more about those later on, you need to put indentation. That is how Python tells which code is inside the if statement, i.e. which code you want to run when this is true. So for example, you can print have a great start to your week. Now this is the line of code that is inside the if statement. If this is true, this line of code will run because it's got these 4 spaces in front. I'll say at this point that you don't have to use 4 spaces in Python. You can use 2, you can use 6 or 8, whatever you want, but be consistent. So always use the same number of spaces. That's going to make your code work. Otherwise, it may not work, and also it's going to make your code look much better. If you've got different indentations in different parts of your program, people are going to be really confused when they look at your code. I recommend using 4 spaces for Python code. Now, if you print something and you remove the indentation, the spaces in front, for example, like this, what you're going to get is that this code is always going to run if this is true or if it is false, because it's not in the if statement, it's completely unrelated to the if statement. So Python will run this code. If it's true, it will run this code. If it's false, it will not run this code, and then it will jump to the next line, and then it will continue running from here. So I'm going to run this down here again, and I'm going to type Monday, and then you see that we get have a great start to your week, and this always runs. But if we type in Tuesday, then you just see this always runs, and you don't see the great start to your week. If you want to print something if the day of the week is not Monday, then you can do something like this. If day of week is not Monday, then print full speed ahead. Let's run that, and then I'll type Monday, and you get have a great start to your week. But if we type Tuesday, then you see full speed ahead. Now this is actually not great Python code because you have 2 checks that will always be evaluated by Python. Here you've got day of week equal Monday, and this will always be checked whether it is true or false by Python. And then you have day of week is not equal to Monday, and this will always be checked by Python, regardless of whether this one was true. Evidently, if this one is true, this one cannot be, and vice versa. So Python provides you a very nice piece of syntax called the else syntax. And what this does is, if this is true, then we run this code. Otherwise, run this code. So this is much nicer and also it's much easier to read. Let me say at this stage that only one of these two will run. You cannot possibly run both because you can't have this be true and also false at the same time. In addition, if you wanted to print something else, if the day of the week is Tuesday, you can do elif day of week equal Tuesday. And what this does is it creates a chained if statement, an if statement with 3 different branches. First, Python will check whether the day of the week is Monday, and it will print this if it's true. But if it's not true, then Python will check whether the day of the week is Tuesday, and it will print this if it is true. But if neither of those are true, then it will go to the else. An important part of this syntax here is that if the day of the week is Monday, then Python will print this stuff and it will ignore the rest. So it will never calculate this comparison. So this is actually good for performance, and also it lets you have a comparison here that when it evaluates and when it's true, it ignores the rest. So there's actually a lot of stuff you can do with this knowledge, and you'll encounter that plenty while you're doing Python programming. A common problem when you are dealing with user input is that they may not enter exactly what you expect. For example, it's quite common for a user to enter all lowercase letters when you ask them for something, just because they can't be bothered typing the uppercase letters. So here the user has typed Monday all in lowercase, and then we have printed out full speed ahead because day of the week is not exactly equal to the string Monday with a capital M. So you have to do something about it if you want your program to be able to detect whether the day of the week is Monday in uppercase and in lowercase. What I'd recommend is that you get the user's input, and just after you type dot lower. And then this is going to turn this entire string into its lowercase variant. Now, if they enter Monday with a capital M, then it is also going to be turned into Monday with a lowercase m, which means that Monday equal Monday with an uppercase m will not match. So instead what you should do is turn everything to lowercase. By turning the user's input into lowercase and your checks into lowercase, you're always going to have the same case because they're both lowercase. So if we save that and run it, you'll see that now I can type Monday, but I can also type Monday all in uppercase, and I can also type Monday as usual. So this is a good way of ensuring that your program will work no matter what type of case the users type. Let's leave it at this. Thank you for joining me in this video. I hope it's been useful, and I'll see you in the next one.